Brilliant article on the website right now from our very own Sid Lowe about Philippe Coutinho and Barcelona's frankly desperate efforts to sell him. Doesn't seem like there are a lot of big clubs anyway that are lining up for the Brazilian. For more on this, we bring in the author of the article, Sid Lowe, alongside Ale Moreno and Stevie Nicol. Sid, I'll start with you. The one thing that jumped out to me about what you wrote is, as desperate as Barcelona are to get rid of Coutinho now, they were just as desperate to bring him in 2017, 2018.
Yeah, and also you can take this beyond Coutinho, can't you? Bear in mind, of course, the context to his signing was the departure of Neymar, the fact that they suddenly had 222 million euros but no Neymar. And there was a desperation to replace him, and that led to two signings. One was Dembele, the other was Coutinho. Between them, they cost the club 300 million euros, and neither has fully succeeded. So much so that they're now in this position where they look at these two players as an economic problem, more even than just a sporting one, and they have huge wages. Coutinho makes 13.8 million euros a year after tax, and so they're now looking at solutions, and those solutions, as I say, they see them almost purely in economic terms, and of course it's easier said than done. So for example, there have been reports this week about interest in allowing Ousmane Dembele perhaps to go out on loan, which is what Coutinho did last year. And of course, if you're letting players that you've spent over 100 million euros on each go out on loan, it's because you simply can't find a better solution, and it's a very, very bad position for Barcelona to have found themselves in.
Stevie, as you look back on it, good bit of business for Liverpool. They got 120 million euros plus 40 million euros in add-ons. It's not just the money they brought in, though, what the club did with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can criticise Barcelona for overpaying, but what they did at the time seemed the right thing to do. I don't remember anybody complaining about anything other than just the price tag. You know, this guy around the world was looked upon as the next big thing. And what he had done at Liverpool, everybody agreed, because he looked like the next big thing. Now, unfortunately, some players can't handle the biggest stage, and that's Coutinho's problem. If you read Sid's article, it tells you exactly that. Questioning all the time, you know, asking his players if he's doing the things right, listening to the crowd, listening to the boos, listening to the criticism. Listen, when you play for a big team, you have to be able to shut all that out. You have to be in your own little bubble, and what goes on around you, you don't take any notice of it, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And some players, since the game began, can do that at a big club, and some can't. And it looks like Coutinho can't do it at a big club.
Ale, was it just the pressure? He was 25 years old when he got to Barcelona. How do we explain the wall that Coutinho seemingly run into?
Yeah, there are a couple of interesting things about Coutinho. One of them is how steep and how quick the drop-off has been. He went from being a top player at Liverpool to, well, he was going to be the solution that Sid was just talking about. He was going to cover that hole that Neymar left. And then from there, with some early positive returns, if you will, for Barcelona, to then struggles, to then it just fell apart. The wheels just came off, and he just kind of disappeared. And so the second thing that I think was surprising is that once he went off to Copa America this past summer, I thought, you know what? Maybe this is what he needed. He goes back to Brazil. He has a pretty good tournament. The team wins the competition. He feels good about himself. He's scoring important goals for the national team. And so now we're going to see a better version of him. And it just didn't happen. It didn't happen for Barcelona. It didn't happen for Bayern Munich. The loan didn't quite work. And we just didn't see the same level of player that we had seen at Liverpool. And so what happens now is that nobody wants to touch him. Nobody at a top-tier level wants to touch him. One, because of the salaries, but two, because of the evidence that you have seen, the recent evidence, and that is a player who is struggling with confidence. So one of the things that I thought was really interesting from Sid's article was the premise that maybe for Barcelona, after you go all the digging and research and investigating and trying to reach out to teams and see if you can work out a deal, maybe the best solution for Barcelona, whether they like it or not, is the fact that you may just have to play this guy. You may just have to see whether he can be the guy that you thought he was going to be for you. But it feels like the relationship between the two, between Coutinho and Barcelona, is broken down, and it doesn't feel like this is a player that can thrive at Camp Nou.
Can I just throw something in here? You know when I was talking earlier, I was saying some players can't play at on the biggest stage. What I mean by that is, when Coutinho in particular came to Liverpool, Liverpool were not expected to be at the very top. You know, Liverpool were on the rise, and it's very easy when you're on the rise and you're chasing and everybody's behind you and everybody's encouraging you, and it doesn't matter what you do. If you do something wrong, it's, well, don't worry. And when you do something good, it's, oh, that's fantastic. So when I say the biggest stage, when you go to a Barcelona or you go to any club that's at the very top, and you have to produce the best every single minute of every single hour of every single day and every single game, that's what I mean when I say the likes of Coutinho can't handle it.
Sid, real quick, any chance of a comeback?
Yeah, I think the Barcelona context was, of course, he was trying to replace Neymar and Iniesta at the same time. I think, and as Ali's pointed out, and this was the kind of final conclusion of the piece in a way, is that if you're in a position where you don't have a good exit strategy, then yeah, play him. You know, it's a different manager now, it's a different context, it's a different style, it's different players around him. Maybe the best thing Barcelona can do is that rather than try and recover the money, is to try and recover the player emotionally and see if you can get him playing again.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.